Pizza might just be my favorite food. And one of the things that's fantastic about it is the diversity of styles that it comes in. So many places have their own unique spin on how pizza should be done. And to me, that just means more ways to enjoy it. Today though, I'm gonna be putting some of those different styles to the test. I'm Dakota, and today I'm gonna be trying 4 different styles of pizza from around the country, sent to me by Goldbelly. If you don't know what Goldbelly is, basically it's an online shop where you can buy some of the best foods from all over the United States shipped right to your front door. So today I've got pizzas from Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, and right here in New York. The Chicago style pizza is gonna be from Lou Malnati's. The Detroit comes from Detroit Style Pizza Company. The St. Louis pizza comes from Emo's, and the New York pizza comes from one of my favorite New York pizza places, DeFara. I'm so excited that my job lets me just eat pizza. First up, we're gonna have Chicago deep dish pizza from one of the most famous places in Chicago, Lou Malnati's. Deep dish was developed in the 40s in Chicago. It's super thick with a deep crust that's like a big bowl full of toppings. More like a pie than a traditional pizza. Also with the deep dish pizza, the cheese is typically underneath the sauce because if it were on top, it would likely burn due to the long cooking times that something like this requires. Lou Malnati's has been making deep dish pizzas since the 70s, so they definitely have a good amount of experience in this area. And I am very excited to try this. I've actually never had Lou Malnati's, but every single person I know from Chicago is always like, you gotta have Lou Malnati's. And I can't go to Chicago right now, but this is about the best I can do. Let's have some of this. Ooh, yeah. Oh, this is thick. And the crust is like a nice golden color. There's so much cheese. I expected the sauce layer to be thicker than it is, but the cheese layer is the thick part here. Oh, it's drooping. I gotta try it. I can't talk. If there's anything you should know about me, it's that I love cheese. Cheese is like my favorite thing on this planet. And this has an amount of cheese that finally satisfies me. The sauce is nice. It's sweet, like crumbled Parmesan on top. You can see the distinctive layers. This is like if someone took a bowl and they made it out of bread and then filled it with my favorite things. The crust is more like a pie crust than a typical pizza crust. It's a crunchy crust, not a crispy crust. But I think it needs that in order to really like support kind of the weight and the mass of cheese and sauce that fills it. Having the tomato sauce be on top of the cheese is an interesting experience because the order that ingredients go on something really does determine how you taste it. And with this, the sauce is one of the first things you taste rather than it being the middle thing that kind of just blends into the rest of it. So the sauce is actually a really nice, strong, kind of tangy, sweet flavor, and it kind of coats the roof of your mouth as you bite into it. And I like that. Might be a deep dish pizza convert. I'm not saying it's gonna replace New York style pizza for me because I live in New York, though there is a deep dish place like a block from me. Might have to go there more often. On to the next one. St. Louis style pizza is known for having a thin, cracker-like crust that can support a lot of weight and therefore a lot of toppings. They also use what's called Provel cheese, which is a proprietary mixture of cheddar, Swiss, and provolone. They also typically cut it into square slices, so I cut mine into squares. Emo's Pizza is one of the largest St. Louis style pizza chains. They have about 100 locations throughout Missouri and the surrounding states, and they've been around since 1964. They sent me a few different types of pizza, so today I'm gonna be trying their cheese pizza as well as their deluxe, which has bacon, onions, green peppers, mushrooms, and sausage. That is deluxe. This is so thin, and it's like, it's rigid. This isn't flopping at all. Let's see how it is. I'll start with the cheese. The cheese is super creamy. That's the first thing I noticed. That Provel cheese is not like anything I've ever had before, actually. It's very much not mozzarella, and it's not something I'm used to at all, but I like it. There's a very satisfying, crispy bite right around the edges. I can taste a lot of oregano in the sauce. I find this super interesting because this looks like pizzas I've had, but the second I bite into it, I can tell it was something entirely different. I've never had St. Louis style pizza, so like this is a very new experience to me. It's not a texture that I would expect on a pizza, but with this crispy, thin crust, it actually really works. To be honest, I feel like if this were a thick crust, that cheese would be overwhelming. So this is a nice balance of those textures. Now I'm gonna try the deluxe. This is definitely a much heavier slice than the cheese had. It's holding up still. So here on this deluxe pizza, the cheese is kind of like melted into a cream rather than it being like a solid baked cheese like on this one. It's sort of more like a cheese sauce, I wanna say. Wow, there's a lot on this. If you put all these toppings and this type of cheese on like a New York crust, I feel like it would start to flop and the crust would get a bit soggy. But here with this nice cracker sort of crust, it actually stays together, holds up well. I don't know if the inventors of pizza ever foresaw this. I think they'd be proud. This is actually the one I was most nervous about. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it or not, but I actually really do. Like, who came up with this cheese? So here we have a pizza from DeFara in Brooklyn. This one is sort of a hybrid between a New York style pizza and a Neapolitan pizza. It's really good. New York style pizza originated in the early 1900s, supposedly at Lombardi's downtown, and it's been built upon and improved upon ever since. DeFara Pizza specifically is one of my favorite pizza places in the city. The owner, Dom DeMarco, has been making pizzas there for over 50 years, and he is in his 80s and he still works there with his family to make amazing pizzas with great ingredients. One of the touches that you get at the restaurant is that they sprinkle fresh basil and Parmesan over top of the pizza. In the goldbelly order, they included a bag of each in the box, and I was an idiot and forgot to refrigerate the basil. I did get the Parmesan put on here though. Here we go. They make their sauce with San Marzano tomatoes, and it's a really nice sauce. You can taste those tomatoes in here. Why can't all foods be as good as pizza? I don't know for sure, but I want to say there's a little bit of pepper in this sauce. I can't usually discern black pepper in pizza sauce, but I'm into this. I live in New York, and the only problem with DeFara to me is that it's a little bit too far away, but if I can get it shipped to me through Goldbelly, then no problem at all. I want this slice because there's a lot of sauce on it. Pizza in New York, you get a little bit of a thinner crust and it's a bit crispier, but it also droops a little bit in such a way, if you want to keep its rigid structure, you kind of have to like hold it in place like that. These are obviously small slices, so I don't have to quite as much as a full-size slice. I'm definitely partial to New York style pizza, but I like them all. I could just finish this pizza right now. I love this. Finally, we have Detroit style pizza. This is a pan-baked pizza that reminds me a lot of like a Sicilian slice. These guys are thick. They have this cheesy crust and these dollops of sauce on top. They make for a really good looking slice of pizza. This type of pizza was first made in the 1940s in Detroit, and this may be false, but I did read somewhere that they actually used to use pans that were made from the drip trays from car manufacturing because they couldn't find cooking pans large enough to make what they wanted to make. So these kind of remind me a lot of a deep dish pizza. Like, it's like if someone took a deep dish pizza and squared it off, I guess. But compared to the Lou Malnati's, the crust is a lot more like a typical pizza crust. Let's try it. Also like a deep dish, the sauce is on top and the cheese is in the middle. This crust is definitely airier than deep dish pizza. That sauce is really tangy. I've actually been really impressed with all the sauces. How the tomato flavor kind of comes out in all of them, but they all manage to be a little bit unique. I also love the fact that there's some cheese baked into this crust. That just gives you an extra little treat when you get to the end of the slice. I'm getting full. That was a thick slice of pizza. That was like a meal in itself and not just a snack. That's me. No, I'm not that confident. I'm also trying out one of their meat pizzas. When you do one of the slices that has some toppings on it, like some of the meats on this, the cheese is a little bit creamier. And on this one, it's sort of mixed in a bit more with the sauce. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of meats on my pizzas, partially because they kind of overpower the flavor of the pizza. But with something like this that's super thick, it actually makes sense to have a lot of stuff on it because it can definitely hold it. And since the rest of the slice is so thick and has so much flavor, it actually doesn't overwhelm the rest of the pizza. This isn't the kind of pizza that I would want to just grab a slice of. This is the kind of pizza that I'm like, I want a meal. I feel like I've eaten 8 meals today. 3 of those meals at least were just these 2 slices. Good crust. I really like that crust. I am so full, but also very happy because I have eaten 4 delicious types of pizza today. I love that they're all so unique and have such distinct flavors and styles. And that's just really what makes food and pizza beautiful. Thank you so much to Goldbelly for sending out these pizzas. If you want to get any of these pizzas for yourself, there will be a link down in the description below that you can check out. If you want to try something that's thick and warm and filling, definitely go for either the Chicago style or the Detroit style. If you more prefer a traditional pizza, definitely go for DeFara. But if you want to try something that you may not have ever tried before and you're a big fan of nice creamy cheeses, check out the St. Louis pizza. It surprised me. Don't forget to subscribe to Bring Me to keep up to date with all of our videos. I'll definitely be back to try some more regional foods at some other time. Have a delicious day. That was corny. Why did I say that?